40 minutes, I'll be talking about the stateful components. The component that we talked about yesterday, earlier, termed as a stateless component because it's not reacting to any events. It's not reacting to any events. It was just only, for instance, if we take a logo, it is just accepting some properties and showing them. After that, it does nothing. Same thing in the case of calculator also. It is accepting some properties, not even using them, and it is showing some form, but not doing anything with it. They are stateless. The moment we say something as a stateful component, it has to do something, it has to react. How do we know something is reacting? By changing its state. Even there is a trigger, even if there is a trigger, if there is no reaction to the trigger, obviously we say that they are not changing their state. What we want to do is, we want to build a component which reacts to triggers. For instance, our calculator currently is not reacting to anything. Whatever I do, even if I type something, it is just only doing something here, but not doing anything after when I click on add or multiply. That's not what we want. We would like to react. Means we need to know what is that user is entering, and we need to remember if there is any change in the value. We need to make a note of that value, whether it is first number or second number. And when user clicks on this add or multiply, you need to do that calculation and show them. This can be done using only stateful components, means class components. You need to have a class and then build this. Either you can do it that way, or you can even, there also you can use functional components only if the state manipulation is not very complicated. In fact, in most of the places, a functional component is more than enough. But if you want to have a functional component to take care of state changes, means if you want to build a stateful component using functional components, you'll have to use something called React hooks. You need to use something called React hooks. Let me share this link. I find this link as a useful link for you to get started with the hooks and other things. Maybe you go through all the, from the 1st to 12, you go through all these things. Maybe that gives you a better command on the subject. Let me share that link. Right, I shared this link with you. After this training, means after these sessions, all the sessions, go through those things, not just only hello world part. I just gave that link. After that, understand what is JSX, how to render elements, what do we mean by components and properties, like what we did, what we mean by state and life cycle, how do you handle the events, how do you conditionally render the elements, how do you handle the collections, lists and other things, how do you handle the forms. Go through all of these things, you'll get much better idea. These sessions are only to introduce the concepts, and when I give the project, when you are able to finish that project, you'll get a lot of command. But in order for finishing the project, you need to do a lot of this kind of self-learning after the sessions. Okay, so how do I make, or how do I use a simple functional component to build a stateful component? as I mentioned, first you need to use React hooks. For that, you need to do something like import. What is that? We need to import a specific one called use state from React. This React is automatically given to you. It is not like something that we built. React is a component. React is a library that is available under Node modules. If you have some time and patience, you can look into these things. Somewhere you'll find React. Yeah, this is React. So from that React fellow may export many things. There are many things that they are exporting. What we are looking at is something called use state. That is what we are looking for. So this is an important thing that you will have to use when you are building a stateful component using functional component. That is first difference, first change. Second one is for you to understand is that what is the state of this component actually? How do you define the state? State means essentially what are the values that you need to remember. Either you need to take it as input or you give it as output. You'll be either taking some input or you give the output or both. All of them becomes your state variables. For instance, here somebody is going to enter a number as the first number, another number as the second number. You want to show the sum of those two numbers and product of those two numbers. Means there are four values. Two values you are receiving as input and two values you are showing as output. Means you need to have four state variables. You need to define them. So how do you define? Come to this place and create constant and create a tuple. This is called as tuple in JavaScript. If the first value is like first, just say first. Similarly, constant second, maybe constant sum, constant product. But in a given function, we are doing all these things. Means you are having multiple lines. Earlier, we have written this JSX code, as I mentioned, even though you write them in multiple lines, it is still actually one line only. This div started here and ended here. But now what we are doing, we are having multiple lines, 1, 2, 3, 4 constants and one div. The moment your function is having more than one line, you'll have to use or you'll have to have the curly braces. You'll have to have the curly braces. That is first change. It demands that first change. Right? So now I have the first created, but we need to have some initialization for this. We'll have to initialize it. So how do I initialize? Right? This is where you'll be using use state and give the initial value for that particular variable. So initial value for first is 0. Initial value for second is also 0. What is this use state? It is a function. It is a function, that we are using. But who defined this function? Here it is. Use state is coming from React. That's what I'm using. So I do the same thing for all the state variables. Please do not think that we are doing some rocket science here. It is very simple. You are writing some program. Forget about React. You are writing some simple program where you accept some input and show some output. Each of these inputs you need to store in some variables, and whatever output you are computing, you'll store in some variable. All those variables are called as state variables. That's what we are doing. First we are receiving, second also we are receiving, sum we are showing, product we are showing. If you say I'm building a stateful component, that is the first question you need to think for yourself. What is the input I'm taking and what is the output I'm going to show? For each one of them, give a name and declare them like this. Initialize them with some initial value. So initially, first, second, sum, product, everything is 0. Everything is 0. But how the first number value will be received and updated here? Let me repeat again. First is the value, or first is the variable which hold the value of the first number. That is our intention. But have we done it? No. We just created a variable called first, but haven't done anything. We haven't connected this first with the input control. So how do we do that? Very simple. You see, in the HTML, any input control will have a value property, right? You say the value is first. That means we are linking these two. We are linking these two. Whatever is the value of first will be shown in this place. Let's see. Is it the case? Okay. We have some errors or what? Okay. One more thing. Even before that. See, here you are writing multiple lines and that is fine. But are we returning it here? Remember, if it is one single line, where let me go back to this logo. If it is one statement, you can omit return statement and you can omit braces, I said. But here it is multiple lines. So you cannot omit the braces. You cannot omit even the return statement also. So let me write that return statement. Without returning, you are not giving any mark. Only JSX you will be returning. Everything else is normal code. Now let's see if the outcome is coming, right? And the first number is now 0. Because why? We said initialize it with value 0 and we said this is the thing here. Instead, if I say initialize with the value 50. So first is initialized with value 50 and that first is linked as the value of input box. And you see that 50 over here. But can I change this? I cannot change. I am actually trying to change, but I cannot change. Because currently it is only read-only variable. This first is only read-only. By default, every variable is read-only. So value is first and this is first. Whatever value we have given, that value is being shown here. How do I make it as like something like read and write? That means I should be able to change this value also here. If that is the case, whatever is the variable name, you make it as set first also. Means if it is first, you call it as set first. If it is second, you call it as set second. Set sum, set product. If you want to make changes to the other than the initial values, then you need to have the corresponding setters also. And not only that, and you need to tell when to change. When to change? Whenever there is a change happen in this place, then what is that we want to do? We want to receive that event and we want to call that set first. We want to call that set first. And what is that value that we want to have? We want to set here from the current event, get the target, that is our input, and get its value and set that way. Please again do not think that you are doing rocket science. It is the same thing you will be repeating lifelong. So input earlier, because we do not have on change event handler, because we do not have any setter, we are not able to change. But now we can change, and every time you change, it will raise an event. It will fire an event. Somebody is changing. That event you receive here as a function property. This is the function actually. What you are writing is again an arrow function, anonymous arrow function. Means arrow function without having a name. It is taking the event as the property, event as the argument. And that event, every event will tell like what is the time of this event, what is the target, means where exactly this event occurred, and what is the value that got changed. It gives several pieces of information. We are interested only in the value of the target of the event every time it changes. Now see if there is any impact. Now let me change this 50. See, now I can edit. I change it to 67. Means internally, you do not know. In the UI, we do not see anything. But internally, the value of first is changed to 67 because that is what I changed. So if I want to receive the second value also, if I want to make second value also read and write, I need to have set second. Name can be anything, but better to stick to this convention so that you know what you are changing and what you are setting. So for the second input, I say value equal to, first I connect this property second, and also I handle this on change equal to, take the event, as I mentioned, it is always same thing. This time set the second value with the value of the target of the event. Okay, initial values, let them be zeros. That is meaningful. So both are zeros. Can I change both of them? Yes, I am able to change. Earlier I was not able to. Now I am able to change. But after changing, if I click add, nothing is happening. If I click multiply, nothing is happening. So what do I do now? So sum is the value, right? Ultimately, we want to compute and set the value to sum. But where I'm showing that sum, to show the sum, I can simply say sum. And let us have sum initialized to 10, just to see that it is working. You observe here, wherever you are using these curly braces, it is going to resolve. It is going to compute something. Here the expression is just only first. So that is nothing much computation, just shows the value of first. Here shows the value of second. Here shows the value of sum. See here, that result 10 is appearing because I initialized it to 10. That doesn't make sense, right? Let us initialize it to 0 only. So it is 0. But I want to change this value of sum when somebody clicks on this button. So what do I do now? On the button, observe that I removed the form. If it is form, I need to use on submit. Maybe on submit works only if you have only one button, but if we have two buttons here, so I removed form. In your code also, if you have used form earlier, remove that. Okay, better you remove. Whenever you have a form with multiple buttons, let's not have form, just have a table like this. So this time I am saying on button, if somebody clicks on click, you remember the cases on change, C is caps, on click, C is caps. I'm not saying these things just for the time pass. Even if I change, even if I tell that, you're still using lowercase, uppercase, right? So please be careful. So on click, what is that I want to do? So again, there is an event. There will be an event. On click, what I want to do? I want to add the current first value with the current second value. Means very simple, first plus second. But where is this value to put? So I want to change the value of sum, right? Means set sum, and you call that function here, set sum with first plus second. With first plus second. I hope now you got the point, right? Whenever the value of the input is changed, sorry, right? The input is a text box, whereas button is a different thing. For input, you change the value. On button, you click it. Again, this is nothing to do with ReactJS. If you know the basic web development using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, as I mentioned, that is a prerequisite, right? If you know them, this is all like you know it already. On input, you may, the current kind of event you expect is like changing or blurring or focusing kind of stuff. We are interested in change event. Whenever it changes, change the value of the first with the current value. Whenever the second input is changed, change the value of the second. Whenever the button is clicked, Then pick up that first and second value, add them, and then change the value of sum and show the sum over here. That's what we are doing. But will it work really? Let us see. So first number, I am changing it to 90. Second number, I am changing it to 9. And I am saying add. What you are seeing? 909. It is not really adding. It is just only concatenating. 90 and after that another 9. It is only concatenating. Why it is concatenating? Because whatever you enter here is going to be just a text, not a number. It will not take it as a number, rather it is simple text. It is just a simple text. We need to cast the numbers, the text in the into the numbers. Means whatever is the value of first 90 as a text, you need to convert that into what? A number. Parse int. If you are expecting it as an integer, parse it as an integer. Again, nothing new. It is a basic JavaScript function. So what I am saying now, first number whatever, convert it into an integer. Second value, convert it into another integer. Now do the plus operation. This time it becomes an arithmetic addition. Rather than a text concatenation, it becomes an arithmetic addition. So now I'll load this. Let me add 90 and 9 and say add. I got 99. Instead of saying result 99, let me say it is sum is 99. Let us say product, right, is, what is product? Product is, we have a product variable, right? So let us link it here. Let us link this product variable. Let me see how it is, right? Sum 99, product 0, because I haven't clicked 99, multiply yet. Let me click multiply. Nothing is happening because the multiply button did not have any event handler. So let me do that one also. Just for the sake of readability, let me split into multiple lines. Okay. So for the second button also, we want to react whenever there is a click. So I'm saying on click, and whenever there is a click, what I want to do, accept that event, whether you use it or not, accept that event and do what you want. What is that I want to do? I want to set a new value to the product. But how do I set? I need to have a function for that. So if it is product, you have to have a function like set product. As I mentioned, it can be set XYZ also. But when you are reading the code, you do not know what XYZ means. Better if it is set product. So you know that, okay, I'm setting the value for a variable called product. To what? You may simply hard code it also. You may say like set product to 100. Fine. No matter what you enter, if you click on this multiply button, it will always show 100 only. Multiply 100. That doesn't make sense, right? So you want to give the proper value. So what do I do that? For that, get the first and second values and multiply them after converting them into integers. Now let me reload the screen, enter 90 and 9, add 99, multiply 810. Got it. This is what you mean by stateful component. You built a stateful component using React hooks technology. This is newer one. When I say newer one, not very new. But many people still use classes, and without hooks, they try to do these things, which was original thing in the React. But in the last few years, couple of years at least, they have introduced something called this hooks technology. Hooks is essentially this is hook. Having use state and having the set first set. This is all come under hooks technology. So we are using hooks. You can just develop even a stateful component using simple functions like this. Using functions like this. Okay. Questions, please. Any questions? Yeah, go ahead. This one? Set first. Okay, okay. Right. Yeah, line 14, you mean? Okay. Right. When the moment you say on change, the moment you give that on change event handler, the browser itself will know that whenever there is a value changed, it will automatically invoke this function. Every time I make a change, it will invoke this function. Right. It is just a function argument, right? Argument name can be anything. Let me write this as a separate function. Let's say a function I'm creating. I'm calling it as like on first change, some function I'm writing, and that function will receive some argument. And here I want to do something with that argument. Let's say set first argument target dot value. I can do that. This is exactly same. Okay. Let me convert this into a arrow function. So immediate what will happen? Constant on because it is only single line. I can remove these things and can move it into one line. And also I can remove the parenthesis. If I feel like no, argument means what? Instead, if I give event, maybe this is more readable. Everybody knows that, oh, this is going to be the event. And then if all I need to do is like here, instead of saying on change equal to blah, 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 I can simply say on first change, right? You may say like, okay, event is a big word. Anyway, we all know E is generally used for the event in UI programming. This is fine. And if you say like, why I want to create this as a function here and refer it here, anyway, this is only used in only one place. If that is the case, instead of using this word, let me define the function then and there itself. That is the beauty of arrow function. That's why I suggested to practice the arrow function syntax. Then what happened? You write in the code itself, in the JSX itself, it makes lot of sense, lot readable. So basically, this is a shorthand notation. On change, you receive the event, and that event has a target that has a value. You get that value and call the function called set first, which internally changes the value of this first. When this value changed, it will be shown as the value for the input so that you see the impact complete. Not the function, it is the argument. We have removed the function name altogether because we are not declaring the function in one place and using it in some other place. We are declaring and using it here itself. So we don't require a function. These are called as anonymous functions. Right? Anything before that arrow is an argument. If it is a function name, it has to be like, maybe it is a function like this. This is how you need to write. Right? This is how you are supposed to write, but you don't require to write because this function will never be used in any other place. These are all inline functions in another way. Okay. Right. Questions from others, please. I'm sure there are a lot of new things. You might or might not be able to understand this fully. Is there a way for me to send a screenshot? Let me try once. I don't want you to try this code, remember this code and try, because that amounts to a lot of mugging up. At the same time, I don't want to share the code as it is where you just copy paste. So I have just created a screenshot. See, the only code I changed is in this file only. Our other files are just as they are. I just want to see if I can share this screenshot with you so that you have the code with you, but you have to type, right? So I don't want you to mug up at the same time. Okay, this is not working. So let me do this. Where is this trio thing? Let me see if I can share from here. Right. Can you please access this screenshot from the WhatsApp group, please? Let me know if you are able to. Very good. So now you know what needs to be done. Now it is 12:50. I'll give you half an hour. Basically, you need to copy paste this, type this code on your own, and see that the application is working exactly the way it is. So 1:30, 40 minutes time. I'm giving 1:30 till. So by 1:30, I want you to get the same kind of calculator working on your machine as well. Fine. Lavanya, do you think you can do it?
Yeah, sir.
Okay. I think Akhil is not having his computer today. Akhil, can you please let me know whether you are still on the mobile phone or on the laptop? Is Akhil there or not? Akhil, please respond. You are on mobile phone or on laptop?
Sir, I am in mobile phone.
Okay. Why you people are not responding immediately whenever we ask a question? You are always I'm always asking every question second time. I don't know why. Okay, Akhil, the area in which Akhil is residing looks like there was a big rain yesterday and things got messed up over there. So currently he's not able to use his laptop, so that's why he's on mobile. So he may not be able to do the exercise in class today. Other people, please try. Lavanya, will you be able to do this exercise or not? Because you are finding it difficult to write the code. I have shared the code as a picture. So is this useful?
Yeah, sir.
Very good, very good. Other people are good anyway. I'm happy with the most of the rest of the folks. So try this by 1:30. Finish this exercise. Make sure that you are having the calculator running on your machine. In the last half an hour, I'll show you one more stateful component to explain so that you can better understand these concepts. Okay. Thank you. I'll be on mute and sharing the screen. We'll be back at 1:30. Hari, you can stop recording.